Training for your next big race and not sure about your nutrition? Well, Precision Fuel and Hydration are sponsoring the show this month, and their free online planner has you covered. It calculates exactly how much carbs, sodium and fluid you need to smash your goals. Me and the team at Inside Running Podcast swear by the 90 gram resealable gel to have on our long runs. It's been a game changer for us. If you want to crush your race day strategy, hit the link in the show notes, try the planner and grab 15% off your first order with the code IR-SPRING2025. That's IR-SPRING2025. Hit the link, grab your discount and crush those goals. Now on to the episode. Welcome to episode number 393 of the Inside Running Podcast. Thank you for being with us for another week. A bit light on with running news this week, looking at this agenda, but I'm sure we'll feel easy, 70, 80, 90 minutes. When I usually do say that, we get to 2 hours, 2 hours 10, 2 hours 20, but I'm not sure what we've got to talk about tonight, but I'm sure we'll fill some time. Welcome to my co-host. He's in race week, and we haven't said that since October last year. Julian Spence, welcome to episode 393.
Race week, yeah. Didn't know if I'd get to call it race week during this past 7 days. Had a little niggle scare, which was just about spot on in terms of how my running career tends to go. Get to within sniffing distance of a race and a niggle pops up.
Usually a sore back about this time, isn't it?
I'm not far off a sore back, I tell you. I am tired, a bit stressed. Got a bit coming up. Got a big weekend at the expo down there at the Great Ocean Road Marathon into race day.
Bit happening. We'll get into that. My other co-host is up in Canberra. Brad Croker, how are you this week?
I'm good, Brady. I think Moose rattled off about 5 or 6 different excuses for this weekend. Getting him in early, Moose.
Good to get him in early.
Yeah, I feel average today. Jeez, I'm tired. But sick kid. Sick kid is just the best excuse there is, because who's going to argue with you? You got a sick kid.
Also, I think, Moose, half is it's a long race for the amount of training you've been doing.
I thought about this. I'm like, why didn't you do the 14K on the Saturday?
I got to work Saturday.
Okay.
It's too busy. 14 would have been much better. But yeah, Saturday's our big day down there. Can't throw Jimmy under the bus like that. So it's Sunday morning, because by the time I come in, no one's even opened up the fucking marquee yet. Like, it's just nothing's going on down there. So I can slip into my work gear straight away and get into it. But yeah, you're right. 23K over hills. If you said to me, you got to go and do a 23K tempo run right now, I would think that's fucking stupid. There's no way I'm strong enough for that. So to say you've got a 23K race coming up, I mean, it's good that I've got my head around it, because my plan is to run 16K at what I would consider my tempo effort. But I know at 16K tempo, I'll be fucked at that. I just don't have the strength. And so that last 7K will just be me getting to the finish line.
Bruce, when I coach people that want to do an event that I'm sort of not super keen on, and it's like, obviously that, they're not pros, so it's like you need to enjoy what you're doing. I always say to them, look, if you do it, like, I'm happy for you to do it, but the most important thing is that you come through the other side unscathed. And I feel like that's same thing for you, is like, do it, but like don't injure yourself and then be on the sidelines for a month.
Yeah. Yeah. And injuring myself is most likely if I blow up and then I start running 10K cooked with terrible gait, super fatigued. That's not going to be good for me. So I need to play it smart.
Have you ever ran the half there before? Like, you won the marathon 4.5 times, but have you ever run the 23K?
Nah, never. So I've
Okay.
always come through Kennet River and seen the crowd. That's because Kennet River is the biggest or second, or maybe it is the biggest town on the way through. So there's always like the town kind of out cheering for you, and there's people that stay at that caravan park overnight because super lonely run. There's actually no access points aside from the people that are staying at the different campgrounds along the way. There's no access points for the public, so there's only like Cumberland River, Wye River, Kennet, Skeens Creek, and then by the time you hit like the Apollo Bay area, there's only 3K to go, 2K to go. So yeah, you're pretty much by yourself the entire way. It's lonely.
Yeah, it's a strange race like that, like no atmosphere. All you can hear is like beautiful views, but all you can hear is footsteps. And I've only ever done the half. I'm not sure what it's like being out there for 44K, winning the thing off the front.
Well, you start to collect a few of the back half marathoners, like the walkers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you'll pick up the walkers about 10K, 10 to 12K to go. And so by the time you get to 5K to go, it's actually pretty thick on the side of the road. And you with 3K to go, you're running. They go from 2 lanes for runners to 1 lane because they have like a traffic lane. And so I pretty much just run in the traffic lane on the outside of the cones. So it's going to be cool to see the half marathon where it's just full open the entire way. It'll probably be more lonely, to be honest, because you're not passing any of the half crew.
Do you know what competition's like? Have you seen any elite fields?
No, but the race has been sold out for a while. So any good runners who have looked to enter the last probably 2 months would not have been able to enter. So I think that limits the competition aspect to it because there's no like side entries for elite runners or anything like that.
No, there's ways in there. Andre Waring will hear this and get an entry in. He usually wins 2 races every weekend.
Yeah, I mean that there's probably the top guys that have a history down there, but it's also logistically pretty hard. So on Sunday morning to do the half marathon, it's in Kennet River. That's like half an hour, 40 minutes from Lawn. And then from Lawn's 2 hours from Melbourne. And Lawn and Apollo Bay get sold out, the towns, for accommodation. So you have to make a massive effort to get down if you're going to decide late. Like it's a full-on mission.
So we expect you to win then, Moose.
No, I'm sure there'll be. No, I'm just saying that if that's why the competition could be a little bit lighter on this year because it's sold out. I'm not sure if it's ever sold out before. So yeah, it'll be like I'm looking forward to it. I really love the Gratian Road. There's something about getting off the bus. So your bus from Apollo Bay or from Lawn to the start line, but you get off kind of in the dark as the sun's coming up, and you're on the Gratian Road. So it's like one of the most epic views ever. And the sun comes up as you're warming up and you're getting ready, and it's just special kind of race, that one.
Let's hear about your training week going into it. You hinted on a bit of a scare. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it was pretty average week of training, really. On the morning of Monday, got out, did 10K, just cruised. The roads have been horrendously bad, the dirt roads with massively deep corrugations and just very thick pockets of sand and gravel through them. So it's almost unrunnable. But as I was finishing my run, I saw the grader coming out, and the guy was like, I thought, oh, you beauty. This guy's just going to clean up this road. But he only cleaned up this one section that's about like 400 meters long. But they've been around town. Like I see them out on the back roads now. They're going to they're going to be getting it in good shape. Gravel season, the bike riders call it. Tuesday, this is sort of where things went a smidge wrong. So went out to Chanel Loop. I felt terrible this morning, and I think it was probably a combination of the turnaround from a very hard Sunday morning into a Tuesday morning workout. In retrospect, I should have pushed this to the Wednesday. I also was really tired and had a bit of like a runny nose. So I was thinking, I might be on the way to get sick. I ended up feeling pretty good during the workout. So I ran in a shoe, the Saucony Endorphin Elite 2. The shoe's really, really soft. It favors, or almost you could say it requires, a forefoot strike because of how soft and unstable the rear foot is. So I get right up on my toes in this shoe, kind of like the Puma Fast R3. And that requires a lot more calf load. So I did the workout was 4 lots of a mile at threshold and then a kilometer 5 to 10 beats below. So it's a weird workout when you combine two different, what do you call them? Two different measuring systems.
Yeah.
The Garmin didn't know what I was doing to it when I put this in, but it let me set it up with Ks and miles. So it actually felt really easy. This workout was super cruisy. The first one was 3:19 pace, and then I floated at 3:33. So 3:18, 3:29, 3:22, 3:35, 3:23, 3:35, and I didn't have my pace showing. All I had was, I didn't even have time or distance. All I had was a big screen of heart rate. So I just stuck to the heart rate and listened to the beeps. And I got back to the car. I thought, okay, it's all right to have a shit workout. We'll always get them. Like that felt like I was jogging out there. There'll be some pretty terrible numbers come up. But then when I looked at the numbers, I thought, that's not bad. Like I felt like this was a pretty good workout for how bad I felt going in and for how slow it felt when I was running. And so at that point in time, I said, I'm definitely going to use this shoe for Great Ocean Road Marathon. I get really good results from it. I know Chris has talked before about being like a responder to different shoes. Like he loves that Puma shoe. This could be the shoe that I run most efficiently in. But in the last rep, I started to get a bit of a tight calf. And then I jogged the cool down and the tight calf didn't really go away. I woke up the next day and the calf was fine. So I started my jog and I got to about the turnaround. I ran flat, just knowing that I had a tight calf at the end of the run the day before. And then I turned at 6K and I started to feel it tighten up. And it's not really the calf, it's way down near the Achilles. Borderline is the Achilles. And it's the same sort of pain awareness that I felt when I was up in Noosa and I couldn't get on top of it like 4 years ago. And I had the jab, I had the scans, like I couldn't get it right. Did all the strength work and all the isometric stuff, but it would never really come good until I took a few days off. And then for some reason, it started to come good. And I felt like this was just the same sort of awareness. It's quite different to a normal Achilles thing. So I talked to Ali, that was Wednesday, took Thursday off, Friday jogged in the morning. So just jogged half an hour and didn't feel it. No awareness or anything. And then I just again jogged 12K on the Saturday. All good again. No problems. I am adjusting my gait a little to be a bit more heely, not really pushing off the toes. And that was fine. And then I ran 20K on Sunday. This is a relatively flat loop for where we are. It's a beautiful loop. I went down to Aries Inlet and ran 20K, 340 meters. So there is a bit of climbing, but it's not too bad. Like it's nothing like in Anglesea. and you can get a lot of dirt roads. But the finish to the run was beautiful, like down along the cliff here. 20K, no problems, 4:31 pace. What was the gap pace on that? 4:18 pace. So it did look after me. And yeah, that was it. So it was a bit of just a scare, and I think it was a reality check. And I reckon it was came at a really good time because I was starting to get a little ahead of myself and starting to get that like invincible feel going on.
We said that about 2 weeks ago, didn't we, Brady?
Yeah, dangerous spot when you start getting fit and want to start pushing the envelope a bit, but haven't got the consistency there yet. So you're putting it down to the shoes, though?
I don't know. It's hard to blame a shoe, but it only happened on that workout, and I did get a little bit of the same feel with the Puma shoe. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put the Alpha Flies on Wednesday, and that would be a real good tell because I've been wearing very aggressive shoes for my workouts, and I probably just don't have the the tissue strength to handle it right now. So I'm going to put on, yeah.
And in that video, you were talking about this is my race shoe.
Yeah. I think also don't underestimate like hard Sunday over the hills.
Yeah.
Then going into a Tuesday session.
Yeah, agree. That was like got a bit of a talking to from Ali. She's like, I could tell she wanted to tell me off much worse than she did, but because I had that little niggle, she was almost like, "Don't go too hard," because I was in a fragile position. But so I appreciated that. She's much better with people than I am. I would have just fucking I would have been scathing on the athlete that did that. But
you weren't meant to do that last Sunday. Go hard on the long run.
Nah, she never wants me to go hard. She's real soft about that stuff. We're gonna sort of come to.
Who's now got a niggle, coach.
That's why you got a coach, Moose. Listen to the coach.
Yeah, I got a coach, and we're gonna run into some good discussion at some point, and that's why I got her, because she'll pull me back in the line, and even if I'll be so scared of her being able to say "I told you so," it'll scare me out of doing stuff. That'll be the main reason.
That's good. Good luck for this weekend. I'm excited. No live stream for Great Ocean Road, is there? Live tracking? Run over different timing mats down there?
Mate, I've been there at the finish line the past however many years. You're looking down the straight and you're thinking, who is going to show up here in the finish straight to win? That's about as much as you get. Occasionally there's whispers from like someone on a bike on course who's messaged his mate and said, Andre Waring's winning, which has been the case for a while. That's all you get.
You know our man's won it, Zach and Newman. Sells ads for the show. Partnership manager.
He won the half.
He won the half.
2019, was it?
Oh, not sure what year it was. When Modron was coaching.
He won Burnley as well, same year.
It was in a real purple patch for Zach there.
What time did you run? I'm going to have to look this up.
The year I came third, Ben Ashkettle won it. I remember that. Andre's won it a couple of times. There's some good names on that winners list.
Yeah, the half gets some good athletes there. No one wants a crack at the full, but the half gets some good athletes.
Excited.
Remember last year? Last year in the ladies, Sarah Klein, Ali was there, and someone else.
Andrea Sekafian.
Oh yeah, that's a fucking that's three national singlets there.
Yeah, Andrea's a Canadian record holder, isn't she?
Yeah, 2 Olympians and a world champs representative on the top in the podium down there.
Do you know, I was out for lunch yesterday in Bendigo. My brother got his baby son baptised, and one of the godparents, we got talking, and she asked me, do you know Andrea Sekafian? And I was like, what? I did not have this on my bingo card that this would be brought up. So, yeah, it was very...
is there more to this story? Or
I just haven't spoken about that girl for about 3 years, and I've spoken about her twice in the last 24 hours.
She's still running? She hasn't retired, has she?
We're talking about how she started a coaching business. I think she has retired. I think she's back in Australia, and she started an online coaching business.
She retired? I didn't think she had...
Yeah, I hadn't heard of any retirement message.
No.
She left MTC to go to Boudin, didn't she? Yeah. And then she left Was it her and her sister at Bowman? They both left. Did she have a sister?
I don't think so. I reckon that was the who were the sisters? Stafford.
Stafford. I was going to say Radford,
Yeah.
but yeah, Stafford sisters. Sorry, they left at similar time, didn't they?
I think so.
Yeah, but then
bit of a mass exodus.
her husband or partner works as a physiologist at
the VIS, isn't
he?
he?
The VIS, or like in a high performance setting over here in Melbourne. Yeah.
Oh, well, she could pop up this weekend, Moose. You might be racing her if she's fit. She'd probably beat you.
She'll dust me. I'm not. This is not a performance outing for me.
Yes, it is. You don't step on the start line unless you're going to be judged on a performance outing. This isn't a workout.
No, it's not a workout. And you're right. If you got a bib on, you're racing. That's it.
No pressure, though. It's just good to see you back racing.
Yeah, I just don't really care about the result until I get 20 seconds into the race and I look around and I'm like, it's fucking on today.
Yeah. Couple of real like B-grade blokes be down there trying to take your name.
I don't need that
happen.
shit. I don't need that in my life. Not at all. I do not need that.
If anybody's listening to this and they're close to Moose with a K to go and you've got him covered, just like whisper something in his ear, just give him a bit of stick.
Yeah. Fuck that. I'll be running on the other side of the road coming in. No one will see me.
Wear your headphones.
Nah, you can't do that. Not in a race, you can't do that.
A lot of people do, Moose. Where's the cutoff? Because like people take it serious and wear their headphones the whole way.
Yeah, well, Ed Goddard carries his phone that plays music.
I saw last night the Copenhagen Marathon was on, and there was a guy that was in the lead women's pack. He had earphones in.
Really? 220 sort of
220,
pace?
222, 223?
I swear, when Melbourne was like that December year, Dion Finocchiaro had one headphone in the whole race and ran 2:19. Well,
really?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Definitely. Well, he had one in early. I know definitely early in the race. I don't know if he ditched it. Well, I'll reach out to him and confirm that story.
He probably knew he would be in a pack with you, and he thought, there's better things to be in my ear today than this bloke.
Yeah, probably fingers on a chalkboard, I reckon.
Bloke's just got white noise in the background.
Should have heard some of the shit Toby and I were talking to Ballarat for like the first 10K. We were just yapping some real good shit.
Yeah, that's good. And he was in that pack too, so I'm guessing pretty good reason to have a headphone.
And he dropped us all at 30K. And Toby turned to me and said, "Do we go with that move?" And that was like 25K. And I'm like, nah, we'll see him on the side of the road at 35K. And he dusted us up and put like a minute and a half into us, I reckon. Strong run, that run from D on that day. Anyway, Croaks, tell us about your week. NordVPN has partnered with the Inside Running podcast to offer you an amazing discount. Head over to nordvpn.com/inside running to get a huge discount off your NordVPN plan, plus 4 additional months on top of that. Think of NordVPN as your personal bodyguard for your online activity. It encrypts your internet traffic, shielding your personal information from those prying eyes and online criminals with state-of-the-art encryption. It can help you book flights and hotels for your next race, as well as when you're over there, you can connect to a NordVPN server in your home country and safely enjoy the content as if you never left. Wherever you travel, it's perfect if you want to follow local Aussie sport. With NordVPN, you can access all your streaming services from back home. Don't forget, there is literally no risk to you whatsoever with their 30-day money-back guarantee. Give it a try, and if you like it, great. If you don't, they'll issue a full refund, and you can pretend the entire situation never even happened. Check out our link, nordvpn.com/inside running, to get your subscription started today. You can also find all the information in our link in bio and episode description.
All right, so I had my biggest week in 6 weeks. I actually think I ran more than both you blokes. So
congratulations.
Takes me back to 2018.
One bloke's come off a marathon, the other one's got an Achilles niggle, but congrats. Celebrate.
So, Mondays I've been taking off. So the last few Mondays I've just been going for a bike ride with Lily. And then so Tuesday was my first session. I guess first official session in probably 5 or 6 weeks. I did jump in with Elliot where we did that sort of tempo and minute on, minute off a few weeks back. Treadmill session was 7 by a K, 1 minute rest. Just had this on 17K an hour, which is like 3:30s. And I felt actually really good. I think when I was doing treadmill sessions like 6-7 weeks ago, it was still quite warm in the garage. So I definitely noticed that change in weather where like heart rate was a fair bit lower than I sort of expected it to be. I think I only maxed out at like 163. I was going to just do 6, and then I'm like, oh, I'm feeling pretty good. I'll do 7. So I'll probably do something similar tomorrow, maybe progress it a little bit, maybe just run a little bit faster. So that was Tuesday. I did gym that afternoon before heading out to the track to coach. And then Wednesday, hill was a little bit niggly at the start of the run, but I got through 15K, 426s. But it didn't give me like a heap of confidence. It's one of those things at the moment where like I can manage it, but I just need to make sure I don't push it too far. Otherwise, then I'm going to have to like dial it right back again. So I got through that. Thursday, I then took off and got some treatment Thursday night from Jimmy Barker. And then Friday was like my second session for the week. And I guess it was sort of a half session, good bang for your buck. So I basically ran for 62 minutes and I did a progression run. So I ran from home. I did 4 kilometers, and then I sort of worked backwards in terms of like, okay, I want to do roughly sort of 8K of a session. What's the fastest I think I can run at the end of that 8K and still not be all out? So I thought, I reckon somewhere in that sort of 320 to 330 range. And then I basically just added 5 seconds a kilometer, every kilometer up to like 8K. So I'm like, all right, I'll start at 4-minute Ks, and just every kilometer my watch will beep, and I'll try and take 5 seconds a K off. And like, it's such a good session because it's like, basically a 30-minute progression run. First 10 minutes was fairly comfortable, but heart rate was still like, I probably started this at maybe mid 140s and then got up to like maybe mid 150s for the first 10 minutes. So that was like quite comfortable. Middle 10 minutes was like steady, and then 10 minutes fairly hard, but you're only running 10 minutes hard in the whole session. So, but in terms of splits, it was like, 358, 353, 348, 43, 38, 32, 328, 322, and then 4K back home. So I ended up averaging like 156 heart rate for that hour. Averaged, I think, 339s for the 8K and 353s for 16K. I reckon I'll keep doing this stuff. I reckon it gets you fairly fit, and it does build a fair bit of strength because, those last few kilometers, you've been running like 20 minutes, 25 minutes steady. So then to actually have to kick down, like you do actually need an element of strength to be able to do that session. So I'm hoping
What shoe did you wear, Croaks?
That was just the Neo Vista.
It's pretty good to get down to 320 pace in that.
The new version one?
Yeah, the new version.
That is, I couldn't see myself running that quick in that shoe.
Yeah, so I don't mind it. Like, I also think it's probably the perfect shoe for me, where it's a session that I'm not so concerned about pace, or I'm not aiming to run super fast, and I don't have to change shoes. I can warm up in it, cool down in it. But what I hope to do is probably start at the same pace, but as I get fitter, just run a little bit longer and progress it down to 315, maybe a 310 at the end. And I actually did this session quite a bit with Brett Cartwright when I was working at Swimming Australia. We'd do 16K, but I would probably just do 2K easy and then start at like 415s and pretty much run all the way down to like 310s at the end. It's a great session. I think it gets you fairly fit, and it's time efficient as well. So that was Friday morning. Friday afternoon went to the gym. Saturday mid-morning got out after Lily's hockey, got rolling a little bit, 412s for 45 minutes, and then met the group on Sunday. It's first group long run in quite a while. So there's like, I think five or six of us. So I did 23K, 420s, so about an hour 40. So it was a week of 80K for me. So a little step up in terms of, I got through 2 gym, 2 sessions, a long run. Try and do something similar this week, maybe add a little bit more mileage.
Good. Just trying to find what the average pace would be for the week. Be pretty decent. Tempo run brings it down. How do you find that?
If you're part of a group, I can tell you what it is.
420, 412, 353, 26, 48.
Go to the Inside Run and Strava page.
Oh, yeah. So 4:14s.
4-4. Yeah, geez. Okay. It's pretty good. Back. That means you're going all right.
What's the average heart rate for the week?
I'm just
Got
not
that?
running enough. Just not running enough kilometers. I reckon. I don't know, average heart rate, fairly in the 140s. I reckon.
There's some absolute maniacs in this Strava group. Do we know? I don't know many of these names either. Are people running 200k weeks in here?
That was a couple of
Jeez.
years ago. That we remember we used to give updates on that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we used to give shout outs to people that were at the top.
Well, it says some bloke ran 2,436 Ks for the week. He must be running across Australia or something, that guy.
2,000 Ks for the week.
I reckon he's taking
On
a
his
flight.
bike.
I reckon he's taking a flight somewhere and no, it's just one run. All in one hit. Something dodgy's going on there.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's a good week from you, Croaks. I like that. I'll whistle through this one. Not much to report. Monday, did 35 minutes. Had to go to Melbourne and back to pick up Carly and Olivia were down there at the Royal Children's Hospital doing some allergy testing stuff. So stopped at Rochester on the way. That's like a town 20 minutes from Echuca Moama. Ever heard of it, boys? Rochester?
No.
Always gets flooded. Always bad floods. Like when it floods up here, they always, very, very unfortunate what happens to that town. Pretty much like every 5 years, I reckon, at the moment, it goes under.
At what point do people that live in other areas stop feeling sorry for someone who gets flooded so regularly and just thinks, why don't you?
They need a
fucking
levy bank
move?
though in town. I don't know why they don't have a levy bank. Like if I
Yeah.
was on the council there, I'd be demanding one gets built.
If it seems like if it's so regular, then it's probably not the best spot to have a house.
Insurance must be like insane to pay for as well, living there.
Yeah.
Tuesday and Wednesday had off. Thursday and Friday just did 30 minutes easy before work. Saturday did 45 minutes. And then Sunday just did an easy 30 minutes as well. Week, 36K. Looking forward to getting back into things. Like I've definitely got that itch. I've just been staying off Strava as well because it's like so many people I know who ran Ballarat, and we spoke about it last week, are just like back doing workouts, back doing big workouts, 2 hours, 90 minutes. I'm just like, stay chilled, Brady. This groin's come good. I hit it pretty hard with some anti-inflams for a couple of days. And then I was due to go to the physio today, boys. And then I got the call at like 1 p.m. that said, hey, the guy's gone home sick. Next availables in 2 weeks' time. And I'm like, really wanted to sort that out.
I don't know. Surely big dog in town like yourself, they have emergency appointments.
There is an emergency appointment thing on the website that I might put my name down for. I wanted to see a specific person. He went to uni with Ali, and he's been really. Every time I've had a tiny little niggle in the past, I go see him, and he just like sorts it out real quick, and it's just pretty much no issues. Yeah, it gets me sorted. So he's obviously a popular man.
I would wait for that.
I'll wait for it. And I don't actually, I did some strides today, and it's like when I take off, I can feel it, like in the first 3 or 4 steps. So
like a power thing. Yeah,
but then once I'm rolling, it's fine. So I'm not 100% sure what's going on.
Sounds like a small little tear, maybe.
Yeah, but surely I couldn't have ran like this. Happened at the 12K mark of the marathon. Surely I couldn't have ran a 30K on it and not felt it.
Have to be a pretty small tear.
I don't know what it is. That's osteotis pubis and stuff in your groin too, isn't it?
Yeah. Yep. I know all about that.
Yeah. How do you treat it?
Strength work, of course. Like everyone, fucking strength work. You can get like more aggressive treatments. Anti-inflams always used to help me. I got a jab down my pubic symphysis, like boof, dip right down into like the gooch.
Yeah, because it's very close to my private area. Like even trying to go in there and show him where it's sore, I'd be getting pretty close.
It is. It's no good for speed work. No, hills is probably the worst thing you could do for it. Hills. Okay,
wow.
Yeah.
No problem there.
Speed work's probably the second worst.
Okay. Coach and meeting as well, boys, I reckon Wednesday night looking at. That's exciting.
It is exciting. I like this.
Oh, I love the fact of not thinking about what I'm going to do. Yeah, it's going to be so refreshing just to be like, here's some races I've got on the calendar. Write me a program.
Are you worried though that because you've got so much knowledge yourself, like there'll be things that maybe you want to do, or will you have some input into your program?
Nah, I don't want any. Zero. Yeah, and that's why you got to have trust in the person writing it. So, yeah. And that's what I want to pay someone to do, so I don't have to think about it, Croaks. It gets like I hope he asks me like, what do you think works for you, and what do you think doesn't work for you, and those kind of things, and then go away and build something. But I don't want to be like, hey, I don't like this workout. I want to be doing this instead.
It'll be hard, especially when we pepper you every single week.
My response will be ask Dan Nash. I'm just doing what's on the document or however he writes it.
Enough questions from Croaks start to plant a seed in your mind. That's all.
The seed of doubt.
It's the seed of doubt. Croaks is good at that too.
Nah.
I like this, Brady. I like that you're getting a coach.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it? It's going to be good. Anyway, let's move on. Thanks to Patreon supporters. Croaks, who you got?
I got Karen Mickle. Karen lives on the central coast of New South Wales and has PBs of 22.26 for 5K, 46.05 from the 2017 Albert Park 10K, 142 at the 2023 Bay to Bay half, and 329 at the 2017 Melbourne Marathon. Found a bit of a blurb here that Dr. Karen Mickle is a lecturer in biomechanics within the discipline of exercise and sports science at the University of Newcastle. Her research focuses on lower limb biomechanics with a specific interest in structure and function of the foot, footwear and running. And I believe that she was a biomechanist for the VIS at one point.
Interesting.
Yeah.
There we go. Smart person.
Very interesting. There's not a lot of people that do that well in running. It's one of those things that pops up when it's trendy and you get like a 2-day physio course and everyone comes out as experts looking to change the world for every runner that comes to see them. But to have someone who actually like focuses on it, that's really interesting, especially with footwear involved. Get the shoe geeks onto Karen and have a chat.
Yeah,
sure.
Doctor. There wouldn't be too many Patreon supporters who are doctors. Got that title.
We seem to have a pretty high percentage.
Actually, yeah. I'm going to talk about that at the end. Remind me, boys, about our Patreon shout-outs as well. Who are you thanking though, Moose?
I have Brock Freeman. I actually have an email address, but I'm guessing it's Brock Freeman.
Yeah.
Couldn't find him on Strava, but based on the email, guessing he's either a student or works at the University of Notre Dame, has competed in the Busselton Festival of Triathlon and potentially ran 95 minutes at the 2019 Melbourne Half. That's so a little bit of a lying low character.
It's all I could find, Moose, but I reckon the email address gives something away there.
Yeah, I reckon.
Good on you, Brock. Thank you for your support. I'm going to thank Marcus Krapaski from the UK. I probably have got his surname pronounced wrong there, boys, but I had a go at it. He's from Bristol in England. Primary club on Strava is Great Western Runners. Has ran 17:27 at the recent Bristol Track Club 5K. Have you guys seen this one? You seen the course? I reckon they go around like a crit track.
Yeah. I did have a look at the course. Yeah,
it's pretty cool. And they must do them like throughout summer or, I guess it's going into spring over there when it warms up a bit. Pretty regularly, I think. 36:18 at 2017 Cardiff Bay 10K, 79:53 at this year's Farnborough Half Marathon, and 2:55 at the recent Newport Marathon. His 5K half marathon and marathon PBs are all set over the age of 50. I know he's good mates with Callie and John over there in Bristol as well. Some really good people in that part of the world. So a massive thank you, Marcus, for your support of the Inside Run podcast. Good to hit those PBs over 50, eh, boys?
Solid running. I don't know if I'll be running 17:27 when I'm 50.
Marcus wrote in a listener question not so long ago, and it was a good one too. It was like training based. And I remember we had a decent chat about it. He's a smart guy who's like concentrating on his training and obviously getting some results. Patreon.com/Inside Running Podcast if you would like to support the show. We did add another tier of support today, which is the same as our extra elite tier where you get the bonus content. and we won't thank you on air. So we had some people write in saying, hey, would love to support the show, like please don't say my name and my PBs and all those kind of things out. So we've thanked a whole lot of people that haven't given us permission to say their job, their PBs, and where they live and all those kind of things. But if you want to sign up and you're worried about us talking about you on the show, there's another option there. Just select that tier, and it means that Croaks won't research you and figure out what kind of tattoos you got and how many kids you got and all that kind of stuff. That's another option. So Moose tells me he's got at least, what was it? I've got at least 5 mates who don't want to sign up because they don't want to get shouted out on air, Moose. So I'm expecting to see five new people on that level tomorrow morning.
Yeah, well, I know their names, so I'll shout them out anyway.
Yeah. It was a big week of bonus content there last week as well. The UK monthly boys got on there. That was Matt Clouds, Aaron Scott, and Dan Nash. And also we had the Road to Berlin boys. So Paddy Stowe, Rob Wilson, and Jimmy Friend. They did about an hour 40 recapping their recent races and stuff. So both are good to listen there. If bonus content's what you're after. Anything else to add there, boys, before we get into some running news?
No, let's do it.
Let's do it. With thanks to Axel Coffee, our race results partner, and the secret to starting every run on the right foot. Nothing beats a good coffee before hitting the pavement. The Australian team got selected, boys, and I love how they do this early in the marathon. Give them plenty of time to get prepared for the World Champs, which are coming up in, I'm going to say, September, over in Tokyo, Japan. Who do we pick, Moose?
Well, it's who we picked and who asked to get picked as well here. So there's sort of two stories to this. In the men's, Andrew Buchanan, our national record holder, he put his hand up and said, I want to run the World Champs. Tim Vincent got selected, and Liam Boudin with an asterisk, which I believe, what does the asterisk mean here?
So I'm not 100% sure this is correct, but I've got a feeling that both him and Vanessa Wilson, who's also selected with an asterisk, a few things need to happen for them to get selected because they're currently outside the 100 quota.
Yep, okay.
So it depends on if other countries don't send runners and things like that.
Yes, understood. Okay, so
just on that, so Timmy Vincent was in the quota.
Yeah,
because he wouldn't have had the time, because wasn't the time like 2:06:30?
Yeah. So he was on ranking points because the fields for the marathon have now increased to 100. Remember, it used to be 80.
Okay, that's good.
It's back up to 100. I checked, and I was trying to work it out why they have asterisks, and I did have a look to see where Liam was and Vanessa, and they were both outside the 100. But AA can obviously still put them forward if somehow they get a roll down.
Well, that's good. They can still put them forward.
That is good from them too. Also to give them a bit of a heads up to say, hey, this is what could happen.
What
are their chances, do you reckon? How far down are they?
Liam looked to be a fair way down. I'm just speculating that's the reason they're not automatically
selected. Are you talking
selected.
like 150 or 200 or
173? Liam is.
That's a fair way down.
But why would AA announce it then? Like, it sounds a bit cruel to announce it, knowing that they must be confident that he can get in.
There's 73 people that will be eligible, and that's not like that. That doesn't include. That's legitimate entries. That's 3 Kenyans, 3 Ethiopians, 3 Americans, 3 Brits, like that, right?
Nah, well, so 100, and then it goes to like, when you look at 108, there's 2 Ethiopians, Eritrean, Japanese. So all those guys can't actually get picked because they're...
Oh, so that's not really 173rd then? Really?
There's a lot of like Japanese in this list. But then obviously, he's not bold.
Is there no calculation done on that to see where his real time ranking is?
Don't know. You also got to remember that a lot of the federations are a lot tougher than what Australia are, so that like they may choose not to send anybody. And I suppose if if the cap for the marathon's 100, then that's, if 5, 6, 7, 8 countries decide not to send any marathoners, you start opening up a fair few spots.
Well, if you consider that each country can send 3 people, that's 30 countries sending 3 people. You got 90 people, right? That's when you start to think about it like that, and you go, well, let's say 20 of them have a qualifying time that themselves that is outside what their athletes have run, and then there'd be a ton of countries that haven't had anyone qualify or even get close to that ranking. So maybe it is likely.
Because our top athletes that had actually qualified were Andy. Pat Tiernan was the second Aussie, and he was 56 on the quota, and then Brett Robinson was third with 76. And so the fact that Australia had qualified 3 people within the quota, obviously Pat doesn't want to go, Brett doesn't want to go, so then Tim's an automatic because, he's the 4th Aussie, but he's inside the 100. And then I suppose we can still potentially select 3 athletes, and that's why Liam, I suppose, has the asterisk because he's the 5th athlete for Australia, but he's currently outside that top 100.
Is it like the Olympics though, where they can take the spots of the people qualified? So can't Tim roll into Pat's spot and Liam roll into Brett's spot?
Yeah, well, that's pretty much what's happened. Like that's why Tim's been selected because he's
he's rolled into spot 56.
Yeah, essentially because Tim's also in the top 100, so he can be automatically selected by AA, whereas I don't think Liam can be automatically selected by AA, even though we have 3 spots because he's outside that 100 quota.
Okay, so both those boys have to be real grateful that Pat and Brett unlocked those spots.
Yeah,
100%. That was pretty much why Andy went to the Olympics, wasn't it? Like he didn't actually have the time or in the quota, but because Brett had the position. It unlocked it.
That's right.
Yeah, I've been doing this for years, boys, and it's still just as complicated as ever.
There was a ladies' team selected too. So Izzi Batt-Doyle has put her hand up, which I think a few people might raise their eyebrows at, given the marketing and income potential she has elsewhere. Leanne Pompeani will make her world champs debut in the marathon, run her 2nd marathon. And Vanessa Wilson has the asterisk. Did we get a number on Vanessa where she sits?
Just loading it now, Moose.
Guessing that's Vanessa will get her first Aussie singlet if that works out.
This will be Leanne's obviously been to World Cross, but this will be her first track and field World Championships.
And our top 3 qualified there were Jess, Izzi, and Jen Gregson.
Yeah.
So then you got Lisa next. So she obviously, what have they asked her to say? Hey, do you want one of Jess Stenson's or Jen's spot? And then she's also said no. And then it's rolled down to Vanessa Wilson.
Well, I guess it's more the athlete has to nominate. It wouldn't be AA saying, "Hey, Lisa, do you want a spot?" It's like all the athletes that potentially want to go would have to nominate, and then they'd make the call.
Vanessa Wilson is. She is. Geez, it gets hard to read this stuff, boys. Right up, 100.
Oh, right. She's going to go.
She's fairly close because there's the 100th spot, and then there's a list here of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's only 7 athletes in front of her, and one's a Kenyan, or actually 2 are Kenyan, so they would have already filled their 3 spots anyway. 1 from Japan, 1 from Poland, 1 from Spain, 1 from Italy. So, she's probably a stronger chance based on these rankings.
And 100's got 119 points. Yeah.
And she's on 11. No, so it's 1,119 points is the 100th, and she's on 1,116 points.
Well, how come she's below it?
Because you need more points.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Goes up. I'm thinking about rankings. Jesus, Brady.
Yeah.
That's confusing me, boys. It's confusing me. That'd be good if we send full teams. And you're right about that Izzi stuff, Moose, because there was an article, Code Sports wrote this article on her over the weekend. I think it was maybe Saturday was released with a bit of a clickbait headline. Where was it? Isabel Batt-Doyle breaks silence on Australia's Olympic marathon selection circus. they got my money straight away when those were the subscription boys. I was like, here we go. I was wondering if there's more skeletons in the closet that are got to come out, or stories about that stuff. And I thought, we're bringing this up again. But it didn't really say much about the it did say this. Isabel Batt-Doyle was the silent victim of the Olympic marathon selection drama. She was one of 6 women who ran under the Olympic qualifying standard but wasn't picked for Paris. The South Australian stayed silent about the ordeal until now. Spoke about a bit of stuff about if Izzi wasn't sure if she was a track runner or a marathoner. And then the article went in to kind of describe the different directions that some of those women have been since then. But then when it spoke about the world champs, it said, while she loves Japan, the home of ASICS, where she has raced 10 times, she is weighing up whether she will return in September for the World Championships in Tokyo, given the financial inducement being offered to run the Sydney Marathon on August 31st, when it debuts as a major in the World Series. Batt-Doyle could be looking at a payday of up to $60,000, with $30,000 alone on offer for the first Australian woman across the finish line.
Do you read that? Do you read that article as if she's still actually weighing up whether she's going to go to World Champs? Like,
100%.
Although she's been selected, I got a feeling, because I've also heard another whisper that one of our selected athletes was potentially locked in for Sydney as well.
A different one?
Yeah.
Well, male or female?
Not saying, but yeah. So there's maybe some people that have been selected. People that have been selected for world champion, because I suppose you got to think, when they nominated for world championships, it was probably a while ago that they nominated, and in that time there's been talk with Sydney Marathon, and then world championship teams just been announced. So how would that look if you've been selected for the world champs, but then you decide to pull out between now and the world champs to do Sydney?
I think you should, if you're nominating and getting selected, then like you made a commitment to that team.
Because does then it impact further down?
But what if you nominate? What if you nominated potentially thinking that maybe you weren't going to be selected for world championships, and then in the meantime you've gone and chatted with Sydney Marathon, and then all of a sudden you're being selected for world champs? Do you then just scrap Sydney, even though it's potentially a good payday?
I think you've got to, there's a certain amount of integrity with this. Like, you can't have everything. If you're going to nominate for an Australian team to run at the World Championships, you shouldn't, it's not a good look to can that and then go and run for money somewhere else. I've got no issues if that particular athlete pulls out of the nomination before the selection is made and decides to do that. But I think if you're going to go through, get selected, commit to the team, and then pull out, that's not really a team act, is it?
Yeah, because the info, like you're kind of saying, correct, was all the information available when they nominated?
Yeah, well, like some people may have nominated not knowing whether they were going to be selected because they hadn't run the time.
Yeah, that's fine. But
that got announced a few weeks ago, the Sydney stuff. So you'd think then you could withdraw your nomination once that information become available.
Yeah, well, and I think
potential $60,000. So you're just putting the dots together. That's $30,000 appearance fee.
Who's putting that together? You are.
That's what the article said.
Oh, right.
She'll get paid out to 60. Oh, maybe it's like ASICS bonuses and stuff.
It's a lot of money.
Pretty good talking about money. She generally is pretty open when she talks about money.
Like, it's a tough one when it is your job as well. It's like how you make a living, and it's like.
I've been trying to convince Andy on every long run for the last 3 months when I was going down to Bendigo. Because same, I said it on this show, I reckon it can be $100,000 payday.
Okay, so let's take this for an example. They've seen Andy's gone, okay, well, I'm going to run world champs. The offer wasn't good enough. Sydney goes, no, we really want you there. Here's double the amount we offered you to begin with. And he goes, okay, I'm going that. Scrap running for Australia, I'm running now. There goes that selection. Kind of throws it into chaos, doesn't it? The entire selection for the marathon, if that's going to be an ongoing thing or like a potential issue. And I think it's a good problem because our athletes are getting commercial opportunities is just you got to make a call though. You got to commit one way or the other. I don't think you can go half-assed into either.
Yeah. And then Melbourne's not far after Sydney. Like, that's a pretty decent payday as well.
This is like the old days of the amateurs and the pros. You got to decide: are you going to run the Olympics, or are you going to go and run some fun runs and make some money?
I just think him being the first Aussie at Sydney as its first year as a major, when Kipchoge is there, is a massive opportunity for your personal brand. And both of those guys, Izzi and Andy, go to world champs and come top 10. An amazing run. You'd be talking about it for years to come, but I just don't think he'll get the recognition as being the first Aussie at Sydney amongst the general running population.
The first, I don't know about that. I think
London get up and about for it. Berlin, the first German, they have a camera on him the whole way.
It's different.
We know they're going to have they've said it, haven't they, that they're going to have like a camera on the first Aussie during the race for the broadcast.
Didn't hear that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I read that somewhere.
I guess in the past, obviously other than representing your country, which is obviously a massive honour, there has in the past been that sort of carrot where if you do finish a certain place at the World Championships, you're guaranteed a spot at the Olympics. But I've got a feeling that this World Championships is too far removed from what I think it even used to be. You're guaranteed Commonwealth Games spots. I think did Liam Adams get a guaranteed Commonwealth Games spot because of a place that he finished in a race? I know that there's been that in the selection criteria in the past.
Yeah, well, you could argue that was one of the reasons why Jess helped her with the selectors' discretions. Her top 10 at World Champs in the past would have come in handy, I'm not sure how many years ago that was compared to 2024 Olympics, probably at least 6. So it holds weight for a long period of time.
There's a bit of a movement to make the World Champs a half marathon instead of a marathon. And this whole conversation gives that movement a bit more credibility, a bit more backing, because no one, you could do that. You could run a half marathon into a marathon a few weeks later, and you still get your Aussie vest or whatever.
The old school traditionalist in me, Moose, doesn't like it. When you think about track and field, the marathon is such an iconic event, but the way World Champs has gone in terms of, if you look at the athletes that are rocking up to World Championships in the marathon, it's definitely not the cream of the crop in world marathoning generally.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. Come on.
From East Africa and stuff, it is.
Go back and look at.
Go back and watch the 2019 Doha World Championships, Croaks. I watched it on the
When
treadmill.
was the last time? Kipchoge? When was the last time Kipchoge ran a marathon at World Championships?
Okay.
When did Kipton run a World Championship?
When did he run an Olympics? When did he run anything?
But the dropout, what you should have, your lead argument should have been that most of them end up pulling out because they're not having a good day and then they want to make money somewhere else. Yeah, could Andy do that? Nah, he'd be too proud to do that.
The winner of the Olympics won the World Champs.
Yeah, Tamarat Tola. Talking about him?
Yeah.
I just feel like in the past, athletes have been more, haven't been as keen for World Champs as they would be for the Olympics.
Oh, yeah, that's still very strong competition, World Champs. I reckon it's 70% there of what you're going to get at the Olympics. It's still very hard to come top 10.
When Helen O'Beary run a World Championship marathon? Safan Hassan?
Oh, they're relatively new to marathoning. I don't know if they're the best examples.
Who won the women's marathon at the 2019 one, Moose?
Well,
do you remember?
Yeah, it was someone good.
Yeah, it was
someone real good. I'll look it up now, Moose, to back you up here.
Yeah.
Pad for me. Give us a story about the race, how hot it was or something.
They had drink stations every 2K, and instead of just having water on them, they would pull each bottle out of an esky of ice. And so 2K is not that long. At the pace I was running, it was 6 minutes, 40 seconds, and you would get a full ice-cold bottle of water. And without that, everyone was running probably 5 minutes slower, I reckon. It's amazing how much that cooled you.
Look at this is the men's that opened up first, Croaks. DeCisa, Geramu, Kip Ruto. Top 3.
So Budapest was Victor Kiplingat, Maru Tafiri, Leo Gebrselassie.
Gebrselassie, there you go. One of the greats.
Women's, here we go.
Ruth Chepnegedic. She's a world record holder, mate. She's a world record holder. She's a 209 lady. Rose Chalimo.
Pack it in, Croaks.
Yeah.
Pack it in.
Nambimian. No, the Nambimian. Johannes.
All right.
She's real good too.
I'll go with your one, Brady, then the fact that so many of them just pull out for a payday somewhere else because the World Championships doesn't mean as much to them as the Olympics.
So let's say 75% of them are on the start line and you might get 50% of them finish or run to their potential. Because there's money to be made if they don't leather themselves to come 30th at the World Champs. Yeah. Anyway, watch your space. We're watching Izzi Batt-Doyle, Andy Buchanan. Maybe the bigger offer comes from Sydney. Yeah. You got to make money though, don't you? It's your job. Like if you want to do this for your job, I think Izzi did say she just bought a house in that article, like $60,000.
All right, so what do you boys
she's still going to win though. I love how people are like, 60,000 people, me. I love how like we're just like, she's going to get 60,000. Haven't even like considered who she might be racing. So who's going to be at Sydney then?
Look into your crystal ball. Is Izzi, based on that article, is Izzi going to run Sydney or will she run World Champs?
Well, she'll do Sydney and it's going to be the biggest head-to-head battle you've ever seen because it's her against Jess Stenson.
So she's going to pull out of World Champs after being
this
selected?
This is just my...
What do you reckon, Moose? What's she going to do?
Wouldn't that be a good race?
Well, she's been selected and it got announced. So I'm going with the World Champs team here.
Why would they include that in the article?
Why would she get announced if she's not running? You don't think they would have called her and said, Izzi, you've made it, you've been selected. Yeah. That's what happens.
Did she share much on her social media about it?
I'm not
sure. I don't know if she went that hard on it.
You know, they make the phone call and they say, Izzi is selected. Do you don't think that would be the time where she says, actually, cash. And they said, oh, that's okay. We won't announce you then.
Oh, no.
All right, Bruce, I'm going to give you
social media post.
I'm going to give you a layup here. Tell us about the day that you got the phone call.
Christian, his name was Christian. He was a sprinter from England. He was Christian, forget his surname. Christian Malcolm, maybe.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
Christian Coleman, a sprinter.
Yeah, you're right though, Moose. It was,
Christian Malcolm. He called me. I was out the back at work and he a number popped up and I've been waiting for a call and he told me and got a little emotional after I put the phone down and I went and saw Bree and she was out the front working. I'm like, this is incredible. This is this is an unheard of thing in my running journey. No one would have picked this when I first started running, and I don't think anyone would have picked it 1 year ago, and highlighted my running career.
Mate, if we were recording podcasts back in 2013, I would have had you one to watch. Don't worry, I would have had you on the watch list.
Oh yeah, my 20th at AV was really just burning a hole in your internet browsing back then on Cool Running.
Yeah.
Izzi's just done a cool running. Izzi's just done a post, boys, 47 minutes ago. She's put 20 photos up in a carousel. Just a bit of like, this is what's been happening lately. Not one picture of making the World Champs team. The Athletes Australia announcement.
You don't get on there and comment. Ask her.
Yeah, we could easily do that. Could probably just say, hey, can you come on the call in the next 10 minutes? We've got some questions for you.
I don't see why she wouldn't have told them before they made the announcement.
Yeah, anyway, watch the space. Did Andy do any? He would have done some photos, wouldn't he? Maybe that's not a good indication.
I'm not sure. I don't remember seeing.
Yeah, I reckon Andy shared something.
Well, you can share something. That goes away, though.
Yeah, true. Anyway, let's move on. So I gave you Jess Stenson. I reckon that means she's running Sydney. Got any other predictions? You're saying Pat Tiernan or Brett Robinson didn't want their world champ spot? Doubt Pat.
Yeah, I don't know if Pat will come out for it.
Brett Robinson be looking for some cash, though, I reckon. He went there a couple of years ago, knows bits of the course, knows the layout.
Guess we'll find out soon.
We will. Athletics Victoria kicked off their XCR season. It was down at Hanging Rock, just outside of Woodend. 8K this was, Moose. It was 12K last year. They changed it to 8K this year. Your competitor potentially for this weekend, Andre Waring, got the win, 24-13. Matty Buckell second, 24-31. Liam Cashin third, 24-38. Western A's got the win, 155 points. They beat Sandringham, 192 points. In the women's, Katherine Dowie come first in 29-21. Charlotte Wilson second in 29-50. And Rach McGuinness, there's a name we haven't said for a while, was third in 30-04. Sandringham got the win with 52 points and South Melbourne was second on 107 points. Pretty competitive too. The fields are real deep. I was so glad I didn't have to go to this race. I would have got absolutely smacked up.
Yeah.
Hey, Moose, remember that podcast that used to happen? I think it was called like Bat Chat or something?
Bat Chat, yeah.
Bat Chat.
Road to Divvy 1.
I'll tell you what, it didn't look like it was a good day for the bats or the cats.
Bats second last, cats last.
The bats get quiet real quick when things aren't going their way, Croaks.
Yeah, I reckon
a lot of XCR coverage this season by the sound of things, boys.
Yeah, I don't think we much chat at all.
Might have trouble selling all those singlets that they had printed, all the hoodies.
Oh, few people regretting their tats, maybe.
I actually never got in to get mine done.
Probably a good idea, mate. Stay away.
I'm still going to get it done. Get it. Just got to get around to it. It's only round 1. Still got 9 rounds to go, boys. A few big ins. When Andy Buchanan gets back in the country, put him in the team.
Hard to come back from down there, mate.
Yeah, they used to do like best 9 of 10 rounds, didn't they? But now they include the whole 10 rounds on the ladder.
Yeah, there's a throwaway. I reckon there was a throwaway. Well, we can battle it out for the bottom rung, mate.
That's what it's going to turn into. Us not getting relegated.
Don't they relegate 2? 2 down, 2 up?
Oh, is it? I don't know. No, I think it's just 1.
Is it? Oh, okay.
Other divisions do like 2 down, 2 up. But
yeah,
I think
right.
Premier Division's just 1.
Okay.
Yeah, shit. I don't want to be thinking about that. Next round is next weekend too. 12K cross country.
Ooh.
So
wait, no, not this weekend. The one after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're going to do that one?
Nah, no way.
Yeah. 23K half marathon into a 12K cross country race.
If it was at Bundoora, I'm doing it. Like, no question, I'm there. But I think I don't even know where it is.
Nah, this one's at that winery near Ballarat.
Oh, that's a hard place
Used to be the Eckerton.
That was the relay. No, 6K was enough, that joint.
Well, I think I only did an 8K leg and it was the biggest leg, so I don't know where they're getting. Or maybe doing an extra lap somewhere. Terrible course because you can't wear spikes or road shoes. You need a bit of both.
Well, that was the same thing about the Hanging Rock. Everyone's wearing super shoes there.
Yeah.
I think a cross country course, you got to be able to wear spikes. Like why we got to be able to put spikes on. The ground's got to be soft. There's something about soft ground that cross country is like correlated with.
I want to probably appeal to people not from the cross country background though. I'm with you though. Play to your strength. I don't think you're going to get the run crews and like the recreational runners in there. Maybe you're getting some, which is cool, but you still got to play to like your core.
But I don't. Why do you make cross country less of cross country for that? Like no one's going to enjoy running on in road shoes over a trail run. Basically, that's what it is. Like the trail runners run the trails, the cross country runners run the fields, paddocks.
If you're listening, the chances are you're gearing up for a race. But how dialed in is your race day nutrition? Precision Fuel and Hydration makes it simple with a free online planner to calculate your carb, sodium and fluid needs for peak performance. Their product, like the 90-gram resealable gel, helps you hit your numbers with ease. That's why legends like 4-time Olympian Lisa Waitman and ultra runner Hayden Hawkes trust them too. Head to the link in the show notes to create your personalised strategy and then use code IR-SPRING2025 for 15% off your first order. Or if you're a Patreon supporter, grab your exclusive 20% off discount code from our member-only episodes. Time to level up your performance. Click the link now. Now back to the episode. We're moving on, Croaks. Last bit of news. Pretty classic.
Yeah, so they announced their middle distance fields. So this meet's not till the 5th of July, so we'll be on the Gold Coast when it happens. But The men's Bowman Mile, listen to this for a field. Reynold Chariot, Tim Chariot, Grant Fisher, Neil Gawley, Azadine Habs, Ollie Hoare, Cole Hocker, Jakob Ingebrigtsen, Hobbs Kessler, Niels Laros, Cam Myers, Stefan Nielsen, Jared Nagoose, and Jake Whiteman. It's going to be one of the races of the year. And the women's 1500 has the podium from the Paris Olympics. So it's got Georgia Bell, Jess Hull, Faith Kipyegon, as well as Elise Cranny, Halem, Sarah Healy, Nikki Hiltz, Shelby Houlihan, Sinclair Johnson, Heather McLean, Will Tedgy, Seeley. So those two races are going to be incredibly exciting to watch, I reckon.
Yep.
Always are, aren't they? Pre-classic.
They do good there.
Yeah.
Always are. How good Cam Myers in that field?
Yeah, that'll be a tester for him.
Yeah, he takes it serious though. Like, he come down, win those races. It's like, where is he at altitude, isn't he now, Croaks, Flagstaff?
Yeah, I saw on Strava he blew up pretty hard, I think, on a Saturday session. I think my boy Jai Edwards is back running pretty well again.
Ooh,
he dusted him?
He's over there. Yep.
He dusted him on the workout.
Well, based on the splits that I could see from both of them, it's only one workout.
Oh.
Croaks would have been the first one into that Strava file too, wouldn't he, Moose?
You got
boys going at it at altitude.
They're over there together.
You got a little WhatsApp group going? Throw a few grenades in there about that.
Nah, they're both incredible. I still reckon Jai's the type of guy. Like if he could string together 12 months of consistent running, he would run super fast.
We heard this before, mate. We've heard this before.
Yeah. Actually, where is it? So Cam was 2K threshold, 2x200, and then 5x1K starting at VO2, blowing up to threshold.
Oh yeah.
So don't think it was a great day for Cam.
Those results brought to you by Axel Coffee. Don't forget, Inside Running Podcast listeners get 20% off their first order online with the code IRP20. Start your day right with Axel Coffee. Whispers, still working on locking down that one I was talking about last week, fellas. Should be an announcement from a governing body soon. Been talking to some stuff there. But more of a talking point. I looked at the elite fields that were announced for the Launceston, what's it called now? Launceston Running Festival. So that they're gone big on the half marathon because I think it did get, World Athletics Elite Label road race, the only one in the Southern Hemisphere. And that means they got a $50,000 prize pool. So the half's going to be the big deal there, not the 10K, which makes me a little bit sad.
So that's 50,000 in the half.
I don't know if it's all in the half. Does it say actually prize money here? Oh, I've got I think it's 6,000 or 8,000 for first prize. One of you guys want to open that tab?
Yeah, any idea, Brady, what that label actually means? Because I know in the past, for a gold label marathon, they have to actually invite a certain amount of athletes from other countries. Do they not have to do that?
That's a bit of my Brady's confused segment. I'm trying to figure out because I looked at the men's field. Men's field is absolutely loaded. So I'm flicking through it today, and I counted. There's 14 sub 63 guys, and a lot of Japanese athletes as well. So you got a 60-22 guy who recently ran 2:06 flat at Tokyo this year. I counted 14 sub 63 guys, and then you add to that Sam Clifford. So he hasn't run sub 63, but he's definitely capable of doing that off his recent form and national record last week. Also chuck in Ollie Chegnell from New Zealand, who I think was third or fourth maybe at Zatopek, 2750 guy. So he can be chucked in that same category. So I kind of thought there's 16 people there who could race for the win. And they always talk about that Pat Carroll record going down, the time on Australian soil, which I think with this kind of field, it's got to go down. And I'm thinking if I'm, the top Aussies there are, Brett Robinson, obviously the Australian record holder. Then you got Andy. Who else is there in Australians? Ed Goddard. You got to scroll down a bit. Liam Boudin. Ryan Gregson's there and he's just over 63 minutes. So, a deep men's field. And then I looked at the women's field. So you got Leanne and Jess, who are pretty much like 69 flat ladies. There's a Japanese lady, 69.32, and then there's a Mongolian lady, 70.32. Most of these people are managed by our man, Brett Lana. You know, Brett, been on the show. When you click on, because I looked at their profiles today and, you can click on like their managers. So I don't know if Brett's just hooked them up with a whole lot of people here to be able to tick that box, Croaks. You got Sarah Klein, 71, Millie Clark, who's probably a different Millie Clark than the 2016 Olympian Millie Clark. Like she ran 76 in this race last year. Caitlin Adams, Vanessa Wilson, both 72-minute girls. And then that's kind of it. And it got me thinking, like, if I'm Andy Buchanan, he's potentially got 14, 15 men he's got to get over to win this race. Whereas if I'm Jess or Leanne, they might have like 3 women in their same ballpark to get over to win this race. And I was like, well, how does that work if they got to have X amount of athletes on the start line to keep this status? But it also got me thinking, like, do we have a depth problem with, because we've got the superstar women, right? And you take Izzi out, who'll go overseas. Ali's had a baby. Jen's pregnant. Eloise has had a baby. But have we got that bit of depth in Australian distance running for the females like we do the men's? Like, is there just no one to kind of get signed up for this race other than those ladies I mentioned? You know what I'm saying? It's going to be a lot easier for Jess to win this race than it is Brett.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but you might be being a little harsh because when you consider things, I know like recent form is different, but you've got Vanessa Wilson just got named for a world champs team, marathon team. So like current national representative, you could say. Well, it's a long bow, but you're not too far off being a current national representative. You've got Caitlin Adams, who's finished top 5 at Zatopek before.
They're still 3 minutes behind though, Moose, like Jess and Leanne's PBs.
Yeah, that's true because there's
I don't think they're competing for the win.
Yeah,
they're great runners.
I suppose though, but if you're looking at the top men, there's not that many. Like, and you're talking a couple of minutes. Like Brett and Andy, the other guys are a couple of minutes behind them on their best day. Really.
Yeah, because I guess what's Andy like in the is 60-20 something, isn't he?
Like Andy should be able to break 60, and Brett, but then the other guys are more probably 62s. So there's a couple of
like
minutes
the
there.
Isaacs, the Liam Boudin, the Liam Adams. I guess there's more of them. That's what I'm saying. Like there's more depth.
Yeah,
like you guys are talking about Caitlin and Vanessa. There's 2 challenges to Leanne, Jess, and the Japanese and the Mongolian.
I suppose the positive for the boys having so many people around, because there's an $8,000 Australian record bonus.
What was it for the win as well?
Well, it was $8,000 for the win.
Yeah, so 16,000.
Yeah, 20,000 bonus for a world record.
That means they got to run 59.
57.
Oh,
no, for the Aussie record.
Oh yeah, it's 59.57.
Yeah.
Is there a bonus to run the Australian soil record?
Yeah, well, so there's course record, so it's $1,000. There's an Australian all-comers record, which is 4,000. The Australian record's 8,000, and the world record's 20,000. But I don't think you can add them up. So I don't think if you break the Australian record, I don't know whether you get the 1,000 for the course record plus the 4,000 for the all-comers plus the 8,000. I think you just get maybe the 8,000 for the Australian record plus the 8,000 for the win, because it says bonuses will be awarded to the highest placing finish only and are not cumulative.
20,000 is such a stingy amount to break a world record.
in Launceston.
Yeah, Izzi's just talked about 60,000 to rock up and win Sydney.
Yeah,
the first Australian at Sydney, not actually win the race.
It should be 500,000, shouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean you got to get insurance for that, but I'm saying it's a pretty easy sign off on Launceston. Yep, we're good.
Anyway, I was just pondering in my head. I'm like, there's a whole lot of, even on the website, there's like, in the men's elite field, there must be 20 names here, whereas the women, there's like 10.
Maybe it's, I don't know.
Stewie was in the 10K. He's on here. Jimmy Hansen, Matty Buckell.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. It's good to see him back racing, Stewie. Anyway, watch that. I think it's usually Queen's birthday, isn't it?
1st of June.
1st of June. Is that Queen's birthday?
No, I think
It's King's.
it's a little bit.
It's King's
Oh,
birthday.
Kings. Sorry.
I think it's a little bit later in June.
Over to you, Moose. Moose on the loose.
Yes. Well, last week actually, I was in Melbourne for our little internal conference, but we went and saw a bunch of brands, saw some presentations. It's funny, you've done this a long now, lot of years, a couple of times a year, and the brands always come out like chasing some sort of like hype focus, or their focus for them for this season. We've seen in the past it's been like women. Sometimes they'll focus heavily on like how they can break into the women's sort of running community, and sometimes it's about sustainability. It's funny, they all must go to the same focus groups or something, or pay for the same data, because they all come out with the same focuses every single year. But this time it was all about the running community, and every single brand pretty much had the same like it's hard to put together what they were saying, but they're pretty much championing this new run crew type scene as like what they consider the true running community. And so like when they talk running community, they talk about the get down to the run early and do a TikTok video for the fucking run club and post it on that. And the brands love this because they're so like visual on social media. They pop up everywhere. There's take videos of themselves running. They like tag people. They try to get ambassadorships and all this stuff. So the brands, it's like free marketing for them. But it kind of makes me wonder where the brands were when the definition of running community was very different 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years ago. Like, why didn't we see the brands out there wanting to connect with the running community like they are now? It's because the runners were different, obviously. Like, no one really promoted themselves like they do now. But it was still the running community. It shouldn't really matter what the characteristics of that community are. If you're in the running industry as a brand, it shouldn't matter to you who the running community is at that particular time. So no doubt, like, the brands will sort of disappear from these, from like trying to engage heavily with the running community in 5 years when the run crew scene sort of plateaus off or disappears, if it does. It just frustrates me, and I'm just a grumpy old dude. But I just hear in every single presentation this last week going, you're all chasing this sort of short-term, cheap win type stuff. But there's going to be runners that have been running for 20 years that you want nothing to do with, and that's the runner that's going to be running for the next 30 years. And I just wish someone would go after them. Wish someone would chase the old school, the blue collar runner.
Is that about them just like selling shoes? Because those run crews are the ones that are putting all that stuff out there, and the masses, like, it's probably the masses converge to those people, and that's where the market is.
The eyeballs.
Yeah, it is. That's why. And I get it. Like, as a marketing, if you worked in marketing, you're like, hey, this is cool. Like, this makes our brand look good. Let's go join with those people. And let's like those 20 weirdos on Sunday out in the bush, they're giving us nothing. They love running more than anybody. They commit their entire life to running. Like, they make decisions, big life decisions based around running. Like, running is their central pathway for life. But fuck them, we don't care about them.
Yeah.
I want the one. I want the one that puts a shoe on, but wears the shortest shorts you can find, shows a bit of like bit of body, bit of skin, makes our brand look really cool for the next week. That's the runner I want to go after.
The old school boys wear the short shorts,
I know they do, but then it's not.
but they're not on TikTok.
Yeah, but the thing is, the old school runner is almost the opposite of the TikTok people. Like they were as Moose said, like the weird introverted guy. Like most distance runners are introverts, so we're never really putting ourselves out there.
Yes, correct. You know what else has been pissing me off lately?
Here we go. What?
The sexualization of running. And every time I open my phone now, I'm looking at someone going for a run, but I don't feel like that's the purpose of the video. The purpose of the video is to somehow turn it into a thirst trap. That was the word I was going for.
Here we go again. Sorry, I went early on it. I ruined the delivery.
Nah, that was good though.
You got me excited thinking about Croaks doing it not so long ago.
I know. It's cheap, Croaks. Like, don't do that.
Easy likes and kudos.
I can't control what Viv videos.
You're disrespecting run. I feel disrespected. I feel like my sport's disrespected when it gets used like that. Like, that's not what it is. Go and do, like, that's the gym culture, right? That's gym. It's bloody, it's not even yoga, right? It's not yoga. It's gym. Maybe some Pilates, they do a bit of that. It's bro stuff at the gym, whatever. It's not our culture.
It's a bit like the old school runner Moose used to look at sprinters, and they were like like they are always out there, like almost into themselves, and that has transferred across into the distance running community by these run crews.
Yeah, for sure. Yep.
But they're doing distance. They're not sprinters. They're distance runners. But the sprinter mentality.
Yeah, I got a feeling we're just old and grumpy. That's how I feel. I feel every time we go to these things, I'm like, grumbly old man. But it's what it is. It's how I feel.
I saw something the other day. It was on Twitter, and it spoke about, I think it got the stuff about the run crews incorrect, but it made a comment about running alone compared to like in a run crew when it's a big event and stuff. I'm just trying to find it here because it was really, I think it was incorrect, but like it said this: I think running clubs flopped because real runners know running is a solitary me versus me activity. It's active meditation, moving monologue, not for socializing. It's to be done alone with your own ideas and sharpen them in the creative lab inside your head.
See, I actually love that, but I don't fully agree with it.
I don't agree with the bit about real runners either. Like, I reckon throwing that term around stupid. I just screenshot it because I was like, it could be. And I don't actually think running clubs have flopped. I think they're more popular than ever. But I was like, she's summarised what happens in your head when I'm out the bush solo for me. And I spend a lot of time solo. So I related to it.
There's a social aspect to running that I still love though. Like I get to be with my people and they're my friends. That's where my social life is. My social life is Sunday morning for 2 hours out talking absolute shit, like connecting with people. Like, yes, I don't want to go and meet 50 new runners every morning because I don't need that. I want to go and see my good friends, what I would consider my running family. That's Sunday morning stuff for me. And it doesn't, like, I probably couldn't do it every day, like, because I need the stuff you just mentioned, Brady. I couldn't get that if I was going and running with a group every single day. But yeah, it's a good mix.
Yeah. Anyway, something to ponder there. Nice moose on the loose. Listener question, Croaks.
Yep. So this week's listener question is proudly brought to you by Precision Fuel and Hydration. And this question is in relation to when Moose and Reese were chatting on road to Ballarat about how good hills are. So the question is, I live flat coastal South Australia, an hour drive to any hills and hard for that extra time with a young family. Would you suggest running on the beach, hard, soft sand, or treadmill with incline up to get a similar work on the legs, or just continue running the flat paths I live by and just push any little rise?
Well, Brady lives this life.
I do.
But
it's a big commitment to drive to run on hills and back as well. Like you're losing. I know he's written here an hour. That's really similar to me to Bendigo. But by the time, get get there, talk shit for a while, stop at the server on the way home to get something to drink. Like it pretty quickly turns into 3 hours away from your family. And then the run might be 2 hours or 2.5 hours as well. Like big commitment away from your family to do that. So that's 100% get you.
So let's just rule that out. Like that's not a possibility for this person. So I feel like the beach, it's not where I would go.
It's a pass. It's a hard pass.
Yeah. Soft sand beach running, that is a nightmare. Like you will just lose any love you have of running very, very quickly if you head down there.
I'd probably choose a run crew.
Oh, yeah.
Soft sand.
You should have seen that Roo run. Did I tell you about that? I'm still having nightmares about the soft sand down there in Anglesey.
I guess part of it is like you've just got to deal with what you've been given. It's like I would love for Canberra to be an extra 1,000 meters above sea level, like because I feel like altitude would help my running as well, but that's not an option for me. So yes, hills are a great little added bonus, but there's plenty of people in the world that run well off running flat.
Brady, great example.
Yeah. Like, sure, you can supplement things with, potentially doing a little bit more gym work or something. I know it's different strength to running over hills.
But even just still an option.
Like treadie is an option. Yeah.
Just rolling hills, especially one of those treadies where you can pick like a course.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
That's a different type of treadie.
Yeah, did you see that Clayton Young one? He could put the Boston course into his treadmill and do it.
I went looking for it. I was like, as soon as I saw it, I'm like, I need that.
I'll buy that. Purchase of the week.
I don't think it's come out to Australia yet, though.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How expensive was it?
Haven't seen it. Haven't seen any Australian prices or anything. So we'll wait.
Is it Wahoo or something like that?
Yeah, it's a kicker. It's well, they make the bike. You know how like Josh Harris has that video game bike riding?
Yeah.
Call it. It's like that brand makes the treadie, but my guess is that they would have to use a big brand treadmill company to make it, and they would just put their name on it. That's my guess anyway.
See, I reckon what you do, Brady, well is like you still have quite long runs, and like you were going through a phase there of like midweek long runs. I still think you can develop a lot of strength, just time on your feet, even if it is flat.
Yeah, I reckon gym work can help if you're flat all the time, especially for those like the muscle damage that you can get from the hills that really strengthens downhill, especially. Get in the gym and get strong in that regard. Do some like stuff that mimics downhill running. Is it like eccentric when you go down?
Eccentric,
yeah. But I like steady I like long runs where if you're not like the hills does things to your heart rate that the flat can't really do. So you can do long runs that have a little bit of effort in it, bit of fartlek, a bit of a progressive type long run where you finish faster. Those sorts of things are good. You're not going to get the leg strength from that you would from the hills. So I think you have to use the gym to do that.
It's good.
Anything else to add, Brady?
Nah, not really. Maybe it's a once a month thing that you can make the commitment to get to those hills, just so you know what they are, and familiarise yourself with them a bit. Or once 6 weeks, once 2 months, whatever. Like I always try to do it with something else. Like if I've got an appointment in Bendigo, it's like, well, I'll make the appointment for that same time. Or if I've got to visit family or whatever, it's like kill 2 birds with one stone. Get on the hills and the track, same thing. Thanks, Precision Fuel and Hydration. Visit precisionhydration.com and use the code IR-SPRING 2025 for 15% off your first order. What's coming up, fellas? Doha Diamond League. Cara and Ryan, the only one in action here, Croaks, the only Aussie.
I'm not sure.
She was in the steep. I had a quick look today.
Oh, yeah. I was just trying to see what events. There's a men's 5,000, a women's 15, men's 800. Did you see all the fields?
Yeah, I did. I just pretty much scrolled through just looking for the Australian flag.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm doing that now. I can't see many.
Sydney 10's on as well. Sunday morning, Croaks, around Olympic Park there in Sydney.
Yep.
That'd be, we expect an Ed Goddard. Sam Clifford, will he roll around a Sydney 10?
Yeah, I don't know. It'd be interesting to see who rocks up.
When's that sound running race for him?
I think is it late May?
Okay. And also Great Ocean Road. Get excited, ladies and gents, because we've got a race recap coming next week.
Let's get to
That'll
the
be
start
good.
line first. Calm yourself. Calm yourself.
You're there. It's Monday. The race is Sunday. Nothing can go wrong between now and then.
Yep.
Stay out of the gym. What shoes you wearing? Alpha Flies. Did you consider the Hokers?
Not really, because I need something normal. I need something where I can just
23K.
Yeah, just get. I mean, the Alpha Fly is. If you showed that to someone 10 years ago, they would not consider that normal. But nowadays, it feels normal. It feels like a non-aggressive geometry underfoot.
Hey, Moose, did Great Ocean Road have some sort of wall of fame or walk of fame where, like, every winner has like a bit of a paver down the main street?
Do that.
I have been emailing them about this quite a lot.
Don't they do something like that in Stall, Brady?
Yeah. That's for the stall gift winners. I reckon there's like the pavers in the main street. And then there's a big board out the front of the Central Park there with the Herb Hedeman names, like the winners on that list.
Would that be one of the
people sending me that
biggest events down there, Moose? Like, is it pretty iconic?
It's been going a while now. So it started with John Craven started it. He used to organise the Otway Classic, and that's something that we need to discuss on here. We have to get it sorted where we get someone on who can tell us in depth about the Otway Classic. But
who did talk about it a bit, and I need to find a weekend interview to re-release for this weekend, is Mel Norwood. I reckon in his interview he spoke about that, so I might re-listen to that and see if that fits for a bit of not a lot of it, but yeah.
Is it like a relay or team event, wasn't it?
Yeah. You pick your team and the team's like sponsored by brands. And then you'd have like 3 races in a day.
I reckon they used to have something similar up in Sydney where it was like a run from Sydney to the Central Coast or something. And it was like, runners would follow along in a van and they'd get out and footage of like Andrew Lloyd and that running on the side of the road. Like,
you'd do like a draft.
Those events would be cool.
I'd love big dogs early in the draft.
I reckon that would get me back competing. I reckon doing something like that with a group of mates.
Yeah, there's Monotale's a good story about how John Craven, the organizer, had organised. I think it was Juma Ingara.
Yeah, he was the guy that was in front of Deke. I think at the '82 Commonwealth Games. I think that was the guy that he ran down.
Real small guy.
But I'm pretty sure he sold him the idea of coming over to the Otway Classic. But Mono was talking to this guy like a week before overseas, and he didn't realize it was like a relay race that went for 3 days. And he was just coming over thinking it was just like an 8K race or something. And then he was pretty much flat out for 3 days straight, milking every dollar out of him.
Yeah, that guy was second behind Deke at Brisbane.
The Great Ocean Road's got its own Wikipedia page. Go back to 2005. Talking about the winners.
Oh, yeah. They had a Kenyans there. It was like James Mutai or something.
Kenyans won the first, David Mutai. Kenyans won the first 5 years.
Yeah.
Then Mark Tucker. And then the next 3 years of Kenyan. Then Alex Matthews. And then Moose. You went 15, 16, 17, 18. And then Nick Earl broke the record in 19, 2:27:37.
First time there's ever been a tailwind.
Well, he only beat the record by 5 seconds, 2012.
Yeah. The year I did it, 2009, and Scott ran with Scott Rantel for a bit. Didn't have it. Remember Scott Rantel?
Oh, yeah.
Know of him.
Yeah. So I was running with him, and I didn't have any idea who he was. And I was so stupid at the 10K mark. I'm like, this is getting a bit slow here. So I pushed off, not realizing that Scott Rantel was next to me. He was back then, very good runner. He ran at college for Oklahoma State, won a bunch of AV races. Oh, maybe he didn't win an AV race, but he was always top 10. And he I'd blown up by 20K, and he'd caught me, rolled past, just like super chatty. he was just out for a Sunday long run, and he just ran through the field that day. Came second, I reckon. Kenyon won.
Yeah, right. That's good. Well, what else happened between now and then, Moose? Next week?
Nothing.
Nothing. Croaks, what are you doing?
Bit of work, bit of training. Nothing exciting.
All right, boys. Do it all again next week. Thanks for tuning in, listeners. Good luck, Moose. Hear all about it.
Good luck, Moose. Stay in one piece.
Yeah. Yep. Thanks.
Want to make your next race day the best one yet? Well, dialing in your nutrition strategy is one of the most effective ways you can do that. Luckily, our show sponsor, Precision Fuel and Hydration, offers you the chance to do this in the most effective way possible. Book a free consultation with their team to fine-tune your fueling plans. Emphasis here on you, as they offer tailored advice based on your circumstances and the race you're taking on. They're there to help you achieve your goals all year long, and as mentioned, this service is free of charge and a great opportunity to ask them any questions you may have about fueling and hydrating for your race. No question is too daft for them. We've loved Precision for a long while, and this free service is another reason why. Use the link in the show notes and use code IR-SPRING2025 for 15% off your first order and start smashing those goals today.